Hi, guys. Hi. Hello, everyone. So, we know it. Hi, everyone. Hi, good evening. Hello. Good to see you guys. Okay, I'm going to actually try. I know I say this all the time and then I end up doing like a 2-hour stream, but I'm going to try to do a quick one today. The reason for that is, Cindy, are you okay? Not that, but Cindy, come here. Hey, dog, come here. Cindy. Sorry, for those of you who are here for the first time, I have a French bulldog. Her name is Cindy. She's adorable, and she's doing, I don't know what she's doing right now. Cindy, come here. Come here, Baba. Come here. Come here. Come show yourself. But also, like, stop doing, Cindy. Okay, this is Cindy. She's a French bulldog who's, slightly on camera. She loves attention, and she starts doing all of these crazy things every time that I start a live. But I've been having like a ridiculously bad headache all day today, which is for those of you who are coming from the Shills stream. Hey, thank you for coming over here. I'm also sorry because that definitely wasn't my best, and I'm definitely like at the exhaustion of my battery for today. And I know that my headache is like really, really bad. Hi, Brax. Because like I have this light setup that I use every night. It's the same setup for every stream, and this light feels so bright to me. It's like, like Jesus is coming down to earth, and I'm an atheist. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I did want to tell you some good news, and I did want to discuss a little bit more about the aid package and sort of what it means for Ukraine. And yes, Aussie T is everywhere on every YouTube, but we love him. He's awesome. And I'm very grateful for him. Thank you, Vilma. Hi, Chad. So one of the when we talked a little bit earlier on the Shill stream, if you didn't watch it, give it a go. A lot of really good creators were on it, and a lot of really bright minds. But basically, we talked a little bit about what passing this aid package means for Ukraine in short term and long term. And I did try to push back a little bit on something Jake Bro said, but it was, it's a panel, so it's hard to do, which was that Ukraine is going to get like the basics at first, and then we're going to start receiving real weapons. So, according to some sources that I have, there is $9 billion worth of aid ready to go. So, these are not going to be the basics. This aid was being accumulated for the past couple of months. For those of you who watch me regularly, you know that I normally verify my sources and I stand behind my sources, and I don't say things unless I'm like quite confident in them, because I really do value OPSEC and I don't want to hurt Ukraine by any means. But there is quite a large amount of aid that was being accumulated for the past couple of months, ready to go, basically waiting for the president's signature. So by this time next week, if everything goes well, I'm in Ukraine. If everything goes well, then Russia is going to be quite screwed. However, there have been quite a few drawbacks, and I know that Russia hasn't gained a lot of territory in the past 2 years or anything. But at the same time, Ukrainian troops at the front are exhausted. Their morale is much better because of this aid package and because of recent developments. But at the same time, we've been lacking shells, we've been lacking air defense, we've been lacking a lot of things for quite a while. And that's not just something that you can, recover from in a day or in a week and start showing amazing results. So I think that we need to be patient. But the thing that makes me very happy is that I know that our guys at the front are going to be way more confident, way more supplied, and they're going to be able to do much more progress. And I don't even mean by progress, I don't mean like, getting back territory in the short term or anything like that, but as in like they will suffer way less losses, and very, very amazing people are going to be able to be evacuated, are not going to be put in harm's way nearly as easily and as often as they were before, and they're going to be able to push back better and to recover their positions and recover their lost strength. Today has been uplifting. Yeah, today has been super uplifting, and honestly, like I could see the morale boost already, because we here in Ukraine honestly have been, well, the feelings have been very mixed, and we truly stopped believing. Thank you, Tara. We truly stopped believing at some point that that this aid package was ever going to pass. Like, we genuinely thought that Mike Johnson was going to stall it as much as possible, and the closer it gets to the election, the harder it is to pass things like that. And of course, Biden and Trump have other things, other priorities in, their pardon my French, dick measuring competition for the election to attend to. So we genuinely thought that if this aid bill wasn't going to pass in the next like month or so, it wasn't going to pass. Period, because if Trump were to get elected, chances were very low, and this, even if some aid to Ukraine would pass, it'd be like, I don't know, in majority loans, or it would be really bad, and it would just, it would not include anything that we really would need, because we know that Trump is quite clearly on Russia's side. But yeah, so that's kind of like thoughts and observations. Like, first thoughts and observations. Obviously, we're going to see. Obviously, we're going to see more and have more information as things progress and as deliveries start happening. Also, Europe is actively searching for 6 more Patriot systems, which are going to be so game changing for Ukraine in terms of protecting. Sydney, please stop. In terms of protecting our skies and protecting our power infrastructure. That was crazy. Protecting our power infrastructure. And okay, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna wait for my dog to settle, because she's pretty noisy normally, but right now, with the headache and with everything and with the light in my face, like, this is just so much for me right now. I love you, Bubs, but can you settle, please? So with oh my gosh, where was I? ADHD and headaches are not a good combination. But yeah, so what I was going to say to all of this is that, we're going to see some. You know what? Give me 1 second. I think she hates her t-shirt. I know she doesn't like wearing. She doesn't like wearing. She doesn't like wearing clothes, and I got this for her simply because we go to POW rallies every Sunday at noon in Kyiv, because POWs are important, and I think it's very important to show up every week and to show that we're not going to forget about them. And every dog at these rallies is always like, they have like their own little posters that say Free Azov. They have their own little like clothing that says Free Azov, and Sini would just like sort of show up. So I figured she needs a t-shirt or something to uphold her civil duty, and she clearly isn't like too happy about that. So yeah, but we're going to start seeing some progress. We're going to start seeing some morale boosts at the front. We're going to start seeing some advances. We're going to start seeing some changes, which is like so important, because of course, it's been a very rough and difficult time. And one of the things that is going to be changing, I think, the most is our air defense. And that's so important because, for instance, I don't know, I guess I've said this in my streams a lot of times, but I feel like it's so important to keep repeating, because I think that a lot of people have no concept of like sort of the differences in different cities in reaction time and time that you have to prepare for an air assault and stuff like that. Just simply because why would anyone know how to react to how these things work if you've never like lived in them? So for instance, in cities like Kharkiv, air defense is not enough, and there aren't Patriots there because you have to ration. Like, we have 2 or 3 Patriot batteries. They're very limited, and they are not. They're not something that you can just like move around places and use in different scenarios. You have to pick and choose what are the most important places to place these like best air defense batteries that we have at. And obviously one of them is going to be Kyiv, because Kyiv is where all of our government and all of like sort of it's the brain behind all of the operations, right? That's where most of the brigade headquarters are, that's where the government is, that's where like a lot of things are happening. And sorry, let me just do one thing on my phone. So I don't forget. 1 second. Sini. Okay. So that's where most of the brigades are. That's where most of these things are. And of course, like Kyiv is one of those places. I'm not going to say where the second Patriot battery is because it hasn't really been announced and it's kind of traveling. But the point is that we have to pick and choose which cities we can and cannot protect. And that's awful because, for instance, in Kyiv, we know that we are going to get attacked about an hour before something enters Kyiv airspace. So, for instance, I can check Telegram monitoring channels and I will see like, oh, okay, so there were 5 like TUs that flew out of Engels airfield and they're expected to reach Ukraine airspace at like 4:30 in the morning. So you know that the air raid is going to start at like 4 a.m. and I know that I'm going to need to go to the bomb shelter around that time. When an air raid starts, I still have an ample amount of time to get to the bomb shelter, which for me is my underground parking lot in my building. But in Kharkiv, you usually get an air raid alert after something hits, because first of all, Kharkiv is 30 kilometers away from the Russian border. And second of all, Kharkiv doesn't have fantastic air defense. And when something launches, it's about a minute to 2 to 3 minutes until it hits. So they can't even sound the air alarm. They can't turn it on to prepare people, because once a launch happens, it hits instantly. So people don't have that time. And if we had Patriot batteries, we would be able to get these things. We would be able to intercept the more of them, because Patriots, for instance, are much more advanced air defense systems than we have in cities like Kharkiv and Odessa and Chernihiv and Sumy and all of these other places. And I think one of the most important things are these Patriot batteries. It's shells, it's air defense missiles, and it's, of course, long-range ATACMS and F-16s. And getting all of this ammo that we've been low on, and air defense, and I'm going to say it so many times because it's genuinely so important, is going to save us a lot of trouble and a lot of lives, and a lot of sort of basic things in our existence. Because, for instance, after the Tripilya power plant was hit, the one near Kyiv, we are expecting electricity cut-offs at around this summer. When people are using ACs, when it gets hot, for instance, there is now like sort of a flash mob around Kyiv and around Ukraine, asking people to minimize the use of electricity between like peak hours. So that's like 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. and not to do like vacuuming or like, not to turn on the dishwasher and things that eat a lot of electricity, in order to conserve and preserve electricity. So we don't have these rolling blackouts, or so we kind of like, or so they don't influence us that much. So yeah, that's that. Secondly, for those of you who are new here, we are fundraising for a DJI Mavic 3 Pro drone for Chosen Company, which is an English-speaking unit. They used to be with the 59th Brigade. They have now separated. I can't necessarily say where they are now, nor do I know for sure, because it's it's one of those things where they've changed their field of activity and their operational area recently, and they're doing some more kind of OPSEC they're under a lot more OPSEC now, and we're fundraising for a drone for them, and we are so close. So it's going to be a DJI Mavic 3 Pro with 2 extra batteries, and oh my gosh, Sinona, why do you do this to me? Why do you always start making like ridiculous noises once I go live? When I'm just sitting here with you, you don't do that. You're so quiet. Anyways, we just got a $20, two $10 donations, which brings us to, and I will tell you in a second, let me just, which brings us to $1,703.62. So that is so incredibly close to our total of $2,500. I wish I had money at the moment. I would so donate to it. Well, hey, listen, here's the thing. You only donate if you can, right? Like there is no pressure to do so. Obviously, every donation is incredibly appreciated and every donation counts and every donation is very important, whether it's like $5 or $10 or $50 or $1 or or I don't know, 69 cents, like someone over here likes to donate to make my life a living hell and to make a life of everybody who is OCD a living hell. Also, we just got some buy me a coffees in the amount of $25, which brings us to $1,728.62. We just got a donation on YouTube in the amount of $20, which brings us to $1,748.62. You guys, you're so wonderful. And there's also Travis who donated, I think 38 cents or something, which evened it out from, which made it even. So now we're at $1,749. And this is a very sweet message. Oh, sorry. I'm also like sneezing all day today. I think it's allergy season for me. I'm so grateful for all of you over there that Mike Johnson finally discovered his conscience, but I will never forgive the House GOP for taking this long to enact this package. Well, I don't believe he discovered his conscience. I think he's doing what he thinks is going to benefit him and Trump the most. Thank you, Brax. But that's a very sweet message, and thank you so well. I'm very grateful for all of you who contacted. Thank you, Truthful. Their representatives who never gave up, who consistently advocates for Ukraine. Because honestly, it's the American people, it's the European people, it's the people that really make these decisions, not the governments, right? And without you, none of these governments would be acting the way that they are in helping Ukraine. So thank you, really genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Grumpy Yulia put the links. Well, Grumpy, did you put them into the chat, Grumpy? Because if you did, I will. I also think we just got another donation, but if you don't know how to donate, oh my gosh. Oh, thank you, Chad. We just got $100 donation from Chad, which brings us to $1,849, which is wild and awesome. And Ukraine has lost. Give them the Donbass. Oh my gosh. You have lost too, your mind. Anyways, we're gonna move on to some better things and more, and things that are not nearly as sad as a pathetic troll who has nothing better to do and has no other better skills in their life than write millions of ridiculous messages on people's channels every day and then get blocked and then create more accounts to stalk them because wow, that seems like a very proactive and productive life. Anyways, so that brings us to, thank you, Chad, that brings us to $1,849 for the fundraiser out of 2,500. And it looks like we might be able to close the fundraiser this weekend, which would be freaking insane. For those of you who are new, I would tell you the story again of how I met the soldier from Chosen Company and why it's so important for me to get them a drone. We did, yes, Brian, it did. We did we did oh my gosh, we did fundraise for them before. We got them thermals, we got them food rations, and we got them money for a quad for reconnaissance missions. And I met the soldier of this unit when he was hospitalized when I first came to Ukraine back in October, before I moved. And I have the full story of what had happened there and sort of like why this unit is so important for me 3 videos ago. So not the one before this, not the one before that, but the one before that. So 3 videos ago in the beginning of the stream, I tell the whole story. And if you are interested in it, you can watch that stream. And there is a lot more that I go into detail in there. But yeah, I'm very excited to get them this drone, and I think that this is going to serve them very well. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at, or where I'm at. And I really hope that we can close that fundraiser soon. But once that fundraiser closes, I have really good, fun news for you. Well, potentially. So I posted a picture in this hoodie. And one second, I think we might have gotten some more donations. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh. We got a donation of $25 plus 25, and we got a donation of $100. So that brings us to $1,974. Thank you, Richard, and thank you, Paul. So, you guys, I posted a picture on all of my social media in this sweatshirt because I completely stand behind what it says. Thank you, Chad. Thank you so much. Russia is a terrorist state. And so many of you were like, where can I get this hoodie? And I had to drop the very bad news that this hoodie was basically almost sold out, and I did not know how you can get it other than going to the showroom at this co-working place where I actually got it from, which was a gift to me from John on our channel. And then John got, actually gifted Masha another hoodie. So they had a small, here, a medium for Masha, and a large left. And so I asked them to put the hoodie away. And like, I will see if I can come back for it tomorrow. So when they found out that I want to use this hoodie for a fundraiser for the next drone, they were like, we'll give you a discount on this hoodie, because basically they all of the profits from this hoodie go to the armed forces of Ukraine. But they're like, since you are going to fundraise with this hoodie anyway, we might as well give you like 50% off. So I came today and I got literally the last hoodie. There are no more. I don't know if they're going to restock this, probably not. But I got it in a size large because I figured that would fit many different people and many different body types. Also, this is a very oversized hoodie. So this is a small, it's huge, but it looks really cool. So for instance, Anastasia is like very similarly built to me, and she tried the medium, and the medium fits her really cool too. So I would say if you're a medium, a large will be super oversized, but still look cool. If you're a large, it'll be oversized and look cool. If you're an extra large, it's going to like fit you well, and it's going to be a little oversized. And if you're a 2XL, I think you will still fit in it. And like, it'll just not be like super oversized. So here is the hoodie. And so this is not during this fundraiser. This is when we close this fundraiser, which we are literally $536 away from goal, which is crazy. We are going to put this hoodie up for either raffle or auction, depending on what you guys help me decide. And everyone who donates it's either going to be so that everyone who donates is going to be entered into the raffle for this hoodie, or if it's an auction, then obviously the largest donation wins, right? So this hoodie is really cool, actually. It has this little thing here. So it's very well made. It's like a Ukrainian brand that does really nice streetwear, and they did this hoodie as a limited edition. And it has this like thing that kind of like makes the hoodie sit better. You guys, can someone remove the troll from YouTube, please? I'm just kind of I keep seeing them here, and I just like, I love playing with trolls. I love like giving them a hard time, but this troll is not interesting. He's just like, there is no use for this troll. He's not providing any entertainment value. Also, I do want to tell him, like, I do want to tell this troll that, for instance, in Australia, it's about to be winter. In Brazil, it's about to be winter. I'm sorry that you don't know geography, baby, but it's hoodie season somewhere. It's the same as it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I bet you never thought of that. Anyways, so yes, I really hope that someone wins this hoodie and someone is a, lucky owner of this. I think that while we close this fundraiser, I'm going to put up a poll asking you guys if you want an auction or a raffle. Yes, I have a heater on in Australia. See? Oh, hi, Chris. And I think that, and I really hope that one of you wins it, or at an auction or at a raffle. And I'm actually so excited that I was able to get this hoodie, because I was so sad. I was like, no, I didn't get it, because like it's, I was like, I didn't get it. It'll be mine. Oh yes, it'll be mine. Okay, Chad. Determined. But so yeah, I was so sad because I was like, no, I'm sure that like so many people wanted this hoodie, and I've seen like so many hoodies that say Russia is a terrorist state on them, but but like they're usually, like those Amazon hoodies that someone just printed it on. And this one is like actually a very nice piece of clothing. It's, it's a very nice hoodie, and it has like a fantastic freaking, message on it. So I was so happy that that I was able to get it. Especially, and it's funny because I messaged them and I was like, can you please put this away for me? I'll come for it. I'll come for it tomorrow. And then they said yes, sure. And then 5 minutes later they posted like, hey, this hoodie is sold out. And I was like, oh my God. Like, this is so freaking like, wow, that was close. And yes, for everyone who comes in and says that they just found out that the bill passed, yep, the bill passed on the House floor. It's likely that the Senate is going to vote on it either Tuesday night or the latest Wednesday, and the president is likely going to sign that same day. And the deliveries of aid, and I mean like equipment, and I don't just mean basic equipment, are likely going to be coming to the front lines in 3 to 4 days, starting to come to the front lines in 3 to 4 days. Thank you, radio. Hi. And 3 to 4 days. And is it Patriot Systems and Supplies? So Patriot Systems Europe is looking for, hopefully the US is going to authorize Patriots in this bill as well. But there is, according to my sources, there is $9 billion worth of aid already ready to go. I am safe. Thank you, radio. I think that there's going to be a lot of air attacks on Ukrainian cities in the next couple of days. I think Russia is going to try to destroy everything that they can before they can't, while they know that we're low on ammunition. Hi, Viper. Welcome. And and I think, I'm expecting some really, really rough times in Kyiv in the next couple of days, and also Odessa and Dnipro and Sumy and every Ukrainian city under the sun, to be honest, every big Ukrainian city under the sun. So yeah, so there is that poor situation. It hurts my soul. Oh yeah, it hurts my soul quite a bit as well. Where was I? Okay, let me tell you where we're at with the donations again, because I'm going to check. So we're Дякую. We are fundraising for a DJI Mavic 3 Pro for my friends in Chosen Company. And we decided on the channel that we're going to do a drone at a time this time. And we are so close on this drone. We're at $1,974. And this is going to be a Mavic 3 Pro and 2 extra batteries. And I think it's usually called Fly More, a Mavic 3 Pro Fly More drone, but I actually found the drone and batteries separately cheaper than the combo. So or at least the combo has tax and stuff like that. So, and we are so close. We're like $536 away. If you would like to donate to the fundraiser and you're on YouTube, all the links are right here. There is also a Buy Me a Coffee in my YouTube links. And if you are on TikTok, then you can go into my link in bio, and which is under my profile picture, and there is my Venmo and my PayPal and my Buy Me a Coffee over there as well. So yes, that would be incredibly appreciated, and that would put us so much closer to our goal. Which is we're so close on as well. And also, the faster we close this fundraiser, the faster we start the fundraiser for the HUR unit for the drone, which is going to be raffling off or auctioning off this sweatshirt, which is very cool because, today I was like, oh my gosh, we're closing this fundraiser so fast. That's so cool. Like this is so awesome. I'm so excited to buy this drone. And then a friend of mine called me. He used to serve in an HUR unit. Now he helps his former unit. And he was like, yeah, so I saw you are fundraising for drones. My guys need a drone. Well, they need 3, but I'm going to ask you for 1, and then we will see. And I was like, well, yeah, I will do my best. And then this hoodie, and I was like, wait, I think this is a great thing to fundraise with. Why on earth would you make me switch to my Ukrainian keyboard every time I want to type your name? Hi, Yana. Good to see you. And also, thank you so much for inviting me onto the shows tonight. Cindy is so cute sleeping. She's always cute sleeping. But yeah, also, I have some intel that's 50-50. And I can't necessarily... So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that if everything pans out and these deliveries go through in the timely manner, there has been something that has been planned behind the scenes for this scenario within the Ukrainian military and by higher military officials. I will say that you need to pay, so I can't say what's been planned, but I would say that in the next couple of months, I'm not going to give you like a tight timeline or anything like that, pay a lot of attention to Crimea. And you can probably figure out where this is going if you yourself go back and analyze all of the attacks that have been happening on Crimea by Ukraine and sort of what type of infrastructure was being hit, what type of what Ukraine in general has been doing, and kind of like what that strategy could bring. Can't get my PayPal to work. Oh no, it's okay. Don't worry. But thank you so much for trying. Sorry, every time I get a notification, I'm like, oh, is that a donation? Okay, so Armin over here on YouTube, every time he watches the live, he gives us a quote of the day. And Armin's quotes are always very on point and they're very situationally appropriate. So I really, 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 really love Armin's quotes, and I really love sharing them. So I'm going to do just that right now once I find it. Also, while I'm looking for Armin's quote, I want to respond to 2 things. Bert Ernie says, take a breath in between your sentences. It's free. Well, I'm incredibly ADHD, and while it might look to you like I am exasperated or it's actually difficult for me, it's just that it's my pattern of speech. I'm sorry, I can't change it. I'm super ADHD, so if I don't rush to say what I'm thinking, like a fly is going to fly by and I'm going to get distracted by it and I'm going to start talking about something in a different tangent, so bear with me. Then if it's sold out and it did so well, referring to the hoodie, they should rerun it. Whatever makes money for the AFU is worth making more. I mean, so they do limited drops of different really cool hoodies. Their other limited drop that didn't do as well but also did pretty well was God Bless Ukraine. They still have some, and if you're interested, I can obviously I can also grab one of those for like a next for a next round or something like that, but they do limited runs with like important messages. So I think whatever the next one is going to be amazing as well. Let me see. Hi, Travis. Hi, Ohio Oblast. Armin, I can't find the quote. Do you mind repost it? Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so very much, because I just scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and couldn't find it. Oh, Sandy Lou. That's such a cute name. Hi, welcome. But yeah, it's New York style talking. It's freaking awesome. I don't think it's New York style. I think it's like, just a person with very high ADHD and formerly quite a bit of anxiety talking style. I fidget with my hands a lot. Thank you. That's very sweet. That's referring to the last comment on TikTok. I love it when I'm listening to someone with ADHD speaking, because my ADHD just follows along with the bouncing trains of thought. I don't notice it's happening until someone says something. Yeah, I feel you, because I have a friend who is incredibly ADHD, and we became friends recently. Like, we got to know each other recently, and we were sitting at a cafe at some point, and we were like having 25 different conversations in one conversation. None of them were like ending. We were just kind of bouncing off different tangents, and then I stopped him and I was like, I don't know if anyone has told you this, but you have severe ADHD, and I love it. Because it was so easy for me to sort of like keep up with that conversation while most people would get so annoyed. So we got another donation of $30 cumulatively from Richard and Dunconu. And that brings us to $2,004, which is so close to the goal. We're like less than $500 away from the goal. You guys, you guys, that's so cool. We might be able to beat the goal tomorrow. Привіт, Mikhailo. Please tell me that this is not my former classmate, Mikhailo, or if it is, Привіт, Mikhailo. Як тобі Миколаїв? Dunk on you. Oh. Well, see, I liked Duncanu. It sounded like a very interesting name that I haven't heard before, and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. Is that French? I would say that about Parliament. Looks like the Met are working with the Islamists. Gives permission to take the win in Ukraine. 8. Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, here is the thing. The bottom line is the motivations behind the passing of the Ukraine aid package are definitely self-motivated. It's not because Mike Johnson decided that, Ukraine has to win, and his little speech talking about why he changed his mind and that he truly believes that, Ukraine is fighting for the right cause and stuff. I mean, that was the most insane 180 anyone has ever done. And I don't think it's purely motivated or is said in good faith. Obviously, this is politically motivated. First of all, and we've talked about this earlier, most of the Americans do support Ukraine, and even the somehow crazy Trump supporters support Ukraine, and a lot of the troops on the ground in Ukraine who are American, who are volunteers, they're Trump supporters, but they support Ukraine, and somehow they think that Trump has done all these amazing things for Ukraine because they selectively process information. But if Trump and his caucus were to be so pro-Russian, right, and were to not do anything for it, then these troops would be pissed, and he would be pissing off a lot of voters. Also, the Ukraine issue, as they call it, obviously is a losing policy for Trump. So he doesn't necessarily want to concentrate on this and have any more back and forth on this before the election. And of course, if nothing would pass, that would be blamed on him and on Mike Johnson and on the Trump/Putin caucus. And that could cost him the election, which I think the worst thing about this entire situation is that passing this package while it's so necessary, and I'm so happy it happened, is going to play in Trump's favor, because Mike Johnson somehow ended up being a hero after stalling this aid package for like 6 to 8 months and costing multiple people's lives and like Ukrainian infrastructure and so much damage and so much destruction and territory loss and people's lives lost and people becoming internally displaced. Now he's somehow a hero, and everybody forgot that he's the reason. He's one of the reasons why this aid package has been so delayed. Johnson's safest move was to allow the vote. A motion to vacate or discharge petition were looming. Yeah, exactly. Most of us political junkies here in the US on the left believe that Mike Johnson got intelligence briefings and learned the true nature of how bad Russian aggression is once he got the speaker gavel. Well, I mean, he has gotten those briefings once he got the speaker gavel, and he hasn't really, like, it hasn't been looking like he actually truly understands it, because he has been still dancing to Trump's violin. And I do believe that he has been getting some more profound intelligence briefings recently, and that could be one of the reasons that also influences his opinion. But he doesn't. He barks. He's Trump's dog. Trump tells him to bark. He barks. Trump tells him not to bark. He doesn't bark. So the thing is, like, this has to have been approved by Trump in one way or the other. Otherwise, he would have been annihilated right now. Moscow Mike would be annihilated right now from like every single angle of the MAGA caucus. So, and Trump would be at the helm of it, and he isn't doing that. Okay, I'm missing some comments. Reproductive rights are just going to take even more center stage now. Yeah, I mean, because it's a very big clash between the left and the right. It's no secret that right now we're basically, we're fighting between having a fascist regime that's awful and just having a pretty ineffective dinosaur party. And of course, everybody is going to choose a pretty ineffective dinosaur party because I would take that any day. I will take that any day over Trump and his genuinely Christo-fascist crazy people. Straight out of like a dystopian playbook. Trump and co have so much Ukrainian blood in their hands. The day they realize that they do realize it, Denob. Like, genuinely, they don't need a day to realize it. They do realize it. They're doing it on purpose. They don't care for Ukrainian blood. The only people who will forget that Johnson MAGA were the entire reason Ukraine aid was delayed for so long are the MAGA cult members. The rest of us will never forget. I really hope so, but honestly, like, people who vote for them and like them somehow think that Trump is the person who resulted in Ukraine getting military aid to begin with. And Trump gave Ukraine HIMARS and javelins, and he authorized military aid while like Obama authorized blankets. And like, granted, Obama's response was awful. And I do have a lot of thoughts on that. And like, politically, I understand why he did what he did as a Ukrainian and like a member of the world. Obviously, I'm incredibly annoyed with his response, but I see why he did that and why he got the advice not to like butt into Ukraine and Russia after the drone strikes. But that doesn't change the fact that Trump was awful and blackmailed Zelensky and was like trying to makeshift compromising information on Biden through Zelensky and was like implicating Ukraine into this super illegal scheme of his to stay in the presidential seat. But maybe he worried if it went bad, his son would get sent as he joining the Navy. I think, yeah, but that's not like big enough. He can pull him out of there, Like, he has enough pull being a congressman to influence things. Good points, but he's definitely going against Trump Putin on this. Yeah, well, see, the thing is, I think that Trump needs help with his policy, and I think that not with his policy, but with his campaign, because the border issues are obviously not echoing as much, especially since Republicans are the ones who are pushing back on all the like border legislation. And listen, we can speculate as much as we want. We can speculate. There's so many different reasons why this 180 could have happened. The point is, it happened. And right now, the most important thing is to keep pushing it so it passes in the Senate. Also, a bill that's being overlooked is the bill that lets Ukraine use Russia's frozen assets, and that is 300 billion. That is a lot of money, and that bill really needs to make its way, and that bill also needs to be implemented because that will change the game. And there is a provision in that bill that Trump cannot do anything about it, even if he becomes president. And that is Ukraine's security blanket. So that bill really shouldn't be overlooked. And I feel like it is kind of on the nose that this bill is being overlooked. I've been watching for 20 seconds and about to puke. Well, I mean, do you want a bucket? I don't know. Seems like you might need something. Do you want Tums? Do you need like medication? I feel like you're in the US, it's bright daylight. Go to the pharmacy, get some Tums. I don't know. Sorbex is good. Activated charcoal helps. I don't know. Why are you telling me this? I don't care what's going on with your stomach. I'm sad to hear that, but like, geez, it's a bit TMI, man. I don't know. The only reason the Dems are as ineffective as they are is that the GOP is doing their absolute best to prove that the government is useless by blocking the Dems from doing anything. Well, I mean, see, like, my thing is that like I generally just hate how old and unrelatable American politicians are, right? Like I lived in the US for 13 years, so I care about the US as much as I care about Ukraine, and like very politically active in both countries. And I just like we need like an age cap on becoming president and running for like the parliament and running for president and vice president and stuff. Like Ukraine's government is mostly young people, and they're people in their like 30s, 40s, right? Like early 50s that can relate to both the older generation and the younger generation. Who are 70 plus year olds in the government relating to? Like as in, they also usually, when you've worked in the same environment for a very long time, you're kind of like, you have like schemas in your brain of how to do things, and innovation doesn't really come easy to you because you're complicit, you're like complacent, right? And that's what I think is happening. Like the reason why I called it an ineffective dinosaur party is just because they're genuinely like, we need younger politicians. We need much younger politicians. Johnson still has to deal with his far-right flank, even farther right, if you can believe it. This won't be neat and tidy for him. MTG, Roy Gosser, Gates, etc. can still make his life miserable. I mean, I guess they've been making his life miserable, but also having, like, like serious conversation aside, but bringing in the jokes, having to listen to MTG in general, I feel like is miserable and makes his life miserable. So, I thought HIMARS came in 2022. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. But that's not what MAGA people think. His name is Orange Criminal. He belongs in jail. Trump needs help. No, he needs to be behind the bars. There are a few moderate GOP in the House threatening to walk out if the motion to vacate happens, handing the speakership to Hakeem and House majority to the Dems. Yeah, of course. Which is why, like, the majority of the Republican Party had to like slam on the brakes and sort of like and go with the Democrats because they don't want to lose their majority. I mean, there are a lot of factors that played into the situation that we ended up in today, and a lot of them are facts and a lot of them are speculation. Of course, like everybody wants to speculate because something very major that has been delayed for so long had just happened, and Mike Johnson has done the most beautiful and gracious axle turn I've ever seen in my life, and then figure skating reference as a joke, but basically he did like a complete 180, right? And we all want to name the reasons why we think he did that. But the thing is, like, there are many very complicated political factors that brought us here, and most of your answers are right, and most of your speculations are right, because all of them are building into the bigger reason as to why the timing is now and why it happened. Right. Robbie, get him some Zofran. I don't know, there's a strong slate of young Democratic leaders waiting in the wings. Yeah, but the people who are making decisions are not young. They're all like, they are, in their 70s. Oh my gosh, and they keep just getting older and older and older. We actually don't know if any of them have threatened to resign and hand the speaker gavel to Jeffries right now. That's just a rumor. Yeah, of course, but I mean, like, there has been large turmoil in the Republican Party. There has been large turmoil because basically the Republican Party is incredibly divided. You can also see that from the voting, right? Half of the party voted against and half of the party voted for. So you can see that there are two very opposing caucuses. Jesus Christ. Can someone please remove the troll? I don't even have if I message her on Facebook, Armin, I don't check Facebook, but you can message me on Instagram and I will see the quote. But also, like, yeah, I don't see the quote. But there are also so many comments today that I'm just kind of like, I can't keep up. Just thought I'd drop in. Glad Ukraine is getting aid. Have a good day. Slava Ukraini. Heroyam Slava. Also, oh my gosh, I missed. Oh wait, I missed some donations. Because the GOP can be counted on to do the right thing after all other possible alternatives have been exhausted. Oh, that was a great one. That was fantastic. Wait, PayPal. Oh, that was a great message from Richard. Senate has to block this bill. Why? And you have a Ukrainian profile picture in your thing? Oh, okay. I missed 2 donations. $100 from Christian. Thank you very much. Which brings us to $2,104. And a $100 from Andriy. So that brings us to $2,204, which is quite literally less than $300 away from goal. You guys, it's like actually insane. That is so insane and so amazing. Okay. Wow. Sorry. As I said, like, I have this like headache and I feel like I'm delirious right now. And I'm so sorry that a lot of you are getting introduced to me and my streams on this day. I mean, the ADHD is always like that. The tangents are always like that, but I feel like at least I'm not staring into the abyss and not forgetting what I say nearly as often. So I'm so sorry that this is the Yulia you get to get your first introduction to, but I promise I'm not nearly as bad most of the time. And if you watch my previous streams or if you decide to stay for my next ones, I promise you a much more cohesive situation. I sent it to her as an Instagram message. Okay, so Armin's quote of the day is here, and I am going to read it to you. A dead enemy is a joy forever. George R.R. Martin. The Song of Ice and Fire novels are based on history, and history teaches that the only way to deal with enemies is to end them. I really agree with that, especially if those enemies are invading you. Also, for some reason, every time that I read a message out loud now, I actually ended with the same voice that I'm like gotten accustomed to ending my United 24 clips with. And so I'm just going to do it for the sake of like funny, being funny and making you smile. So a dead enemy is a joy forever. George R. Martin, the Song of Ice and Fire novels are based on history, and history teaches that the only way to deal with enemies is to end them. And like actually, I feel like this is a very United 24-able quote. They would love that. It's a very good ending to a United 24 Ukraine briefly segment. Honestly, I could see it being on there. So I just had to read it in this voice. You sound like Siri. Nah, I don't sound like Siri. Siri has a much like bubblier voice. I think my voice on most of my United 24 videos is more of just like it's very spunky. Tax defenders versus life defenders. Thank you, America. Well, here's the thing. See, like, I find it so funny that people say that, oh, our taxes go to Ukraine. Like, most of the money stays in the US. That those funds fund new jobs. Those funds fund defense. Those like they fund American companies for the most part. So it's just like kind of ridiculous to say that we're sending, hi Callum, that we're sending that the United States is like sending all of these precious tax dollars to Ukraine because the US mostly isn't sending any money. It's all old equipment that would have cost money to demolition. And now it's actually being used, and the US is producing new equipment. Also, the fact that there is so much turmoil on the European continent, to put it mildly, the US is making like so much money off of its weapons industry because everyone is buying weapons, because everyone wants to be protected. And the US is the largest arms manufacturer. There are so many jobs opening up in America because there is a lot of demand and not enough supply. And there's so many jobs opening up in Europe as well. So, in the defense industry. So it's kind of like I see like my biggest issue with the US is that like so many people have such loud opinions. Some people say they're the best opinions. And yet, none of them understand how the tax system works, how the economy works, how the job market works, and literally do not understand their own constitution, their own rights, and their own legal system. And they're like, we're sending our money to Ukraine. I'm not trying to copy a particular, like, accent or anything. I realize how that sounded. I'm not trying to, like, say that the people. Anyways, I was just making, and I was just trying to use a voice. Anyways, you guys, clearly I really need to go to bed. Thank you so very much for all of you that came over from the shills, and thank you for having me on the shills. We are going to talk more in depth tomorrow. Normally my streams are we read the news and we discuss like news headlines and go in depth over them. We sort of give it like geopolitical and historical and cultural context. And we talk, yeah, we basically we dive deep. Thank you so much for listening to me. I genuinely, like, I think my head is about to explode, and I think you can see it in my eyes because they're so watery and like I have glass eyes. But I am just like slowly decomposing. But thank you so very much for giving me a chance and listening to me. I promise that we're definitely going to have a much better discussion tomorrow. So please do come back. It's very lovely to see you. I really hope that you at least learned something or had a productive discussion. And I will see you tomorrow, as I do live streams almost every night on this channel. And if you want to hear a little more about recent news, you can always check out yesterday's stream. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. I really need to go to bed. Bye. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Ramble on. Night. Okay, let me turn off TikTok first. It's like my eyes hurt, genuinely. It's like they're watering and hurting. I'm decomposing. Okay, bye. Good night, you guys.